Jesus explains the rapture and the tribulation, Donald Trump and the mark of the beast. September 23rd, 2018. Words from Jesus to Sister Claire, spoken by Jackie. Dear Lord, please help us sort out all our questions on how you will progress. It is certainly a challenge understanding the way you think and do things. Please help us. Amen. Well, Ezekiel and I have been pondering this sudden talk of rapture and impending revival. Early on in the Lord's messages to us, He told me the big revival would come after the rapture. Then, as America started to wake up, we were given 3 years more, conditionally, that the people would continue to wake up and pray, and a slight hint that there may be a revival before the rapture. Then Donald Trump was elected, and we thought for sure we would be here for his second election. After all, he would need us Christians to vote him into office, right? Maybe not so right. God's thinking is different than ours, because the Lord has been very repetitive about the rapture happening soon in dreams, visions, and Rhema words to Ezekiel, Carol, and I. We are looking at it from a different perspective. There are a lot of Americans who are still under the spell of mainstream Satan media. They are mesmerized. They are profiting from Donald's hard work for the economy, but still enjoying poking fun of him, ridiculing him, and turning a deaf ear to all the warnings about our iron and clay feet underground government. What if the Lord uses the rapture and world events to get this fence-sitting generation lit on fire? What if revival breaks out because of the rapture, and the iron and clay feet don't get to run the country into the ground right away, with all their guillotines and concentration camps, because new Christians will work with the remnant, and we will overcome all the evil Obama put in motion? What if Donald stays and is president for the first half of the tribulation and continues to drain the swamp? These are all unanswered questions, dear ones. I ponder them every day. I know we are in the season of the rapture. I know this is the last pope. I know Israel is a nation. I know Obama is the Antichrist. And all the signs of the end times are here. I know Nibiru is a planet loaded with hordes of demons and may reach maximum impact on Earth. So Jesus began to answer my question about what will happen after the rapture. Jesus began, "There will no longer be any gray areas between the world and my kingdom. The lukewarm will rise up into their destinies, overcoming all the lapses and failures of the past. The foundation of the rapture will prove my word is true, and they will stand rock solid on everything it says, down to the last jot and tittle. They will have seen a great wonder, such as the parting of the Red Sea, and this will give them a solid bedrock of faith, although there will be defectors and those with weak consciences who will return to worshipping Baal. In other words, being part of the system. My remnant children, you must get your appetites under control. You must. You will make many foolish and dangerous choices, because of your stomachs and your attraction to the opposite sex and vanity, and things that will entrap your souls. Claire has struggled mightily with these all of her life, and with age comes wisdom. But you will have to overcome attractions and desires the enemy will play you with, without the benefit of age and possibly wisdom. You must get your flesh totally submissive to the Spirit. If you do not do that now, when the mark of the beast comes, you will fall and lose your soul. That means you will never see your mothers and fathers, pets and relatives again. Your eternity will be in hell, being burned and tormented. When you received the mark because you didn't trust me to heal your child, you didn't trust me to heal your child. You didn't trust me to provide food. You wanted to be a part of the flourishing crowd, someone important. When you do this, the mark will destroy the part of your brain that responds to me, and you will become like an animal. Next, as the tribulation progresses, they will do away with you through this. But first you will suffer unthinkable torments all over your body. You will seek to die, but death will escape you. I'm telling you this now, so you can begin to get your priorities straight. If you can control your impulses now, it will not be so hard and dangerous for you later. Yes, President Trump will be a part of the remnant. I have overturned what was to be the most tremendous suffering for this nation and given it back into the hands of my people. However, there will be constant fights and attacks launched against America from the underground government as it fades away, and many sorrows. The best preparation for this is a clean conscience and being reconciled to me, as well as knowing my voice, listening to my instruction, and obeying it without the lapse of time or gloss. Herein lies your victory. Many will be martyred, but count it all joy, because that very day all the woes of your life will end, and you will be with me in heaven. So, do not fear that day. It is true that the living will envy the dead, but do not die with the mark. What will you need? First and foremost, a relationship with me. Not just a shallow prayer, bless me, or a rhema, but a communicating relationship with me and your Bible, so that I can convey to you what is important, what is a trap and foolish, and what is a waste of precious time and resources. The ones who succeed in this time will be the ones who hear and obey. Without hearing and obeying, your chances of survival until I come are very, very slim. You will not be prepared for the tactics that will be used on you, especially the betrayals, the wolves in sheep's clothing. Discernment is key. My mother has a great gift for teaching discernment. Rely on her prayers, and you will not be easily fooled. That is, if you are listening very carefully. Those who run for a word and run off are not deep enough with me, and this too needs to be a solid relationship. You will be wise to enlist the angels and saints, and especially my mother, to help you, not only in discernment, but in dangerous times when you don't know what to do. When you feel like you have blown it too badly to ever face me again, go to her, ask for prayers. She will pave the way. If anyone keeps my word, they shall never die. It's in the desiring and keeping the word in your heart, wanting to live it with all your heart, that preserves your soul. I get quite a few remarks from people who are afraid that they won't be raptured because they can't live up to what they feel are the right scriptural standards. If anyone keeps my word, they shall never die. That's John 8:51. Meaning, not necessarily being able to completely live it without failing, but wanting to live it without failing. But the distinction is truly wanting to, which means when you fail, you truly grieve. Make-believe wanting to won't cut it, and the Lord surely knows the difference. Claire, you have a large audience of young people who will be overcomers in the tribulation. That is part of the meaning of the vision that the pastor had of you in the forest, with a torch leading the way for multitudes of young people, and the torch all of a sudden became very bright, and the young people were carrying torches that were not lit. But they lit them on yours, and went off to different parts of the world. Well, when did the brightness come? The day you began on the internet. Young people came with their torches to light them, and truth carries its own anointing. Because some of those who left for no good reason at all have come back with other names, too ashamed to admit they were wrong, and are still with you. Others are being held captive to lies and have ceased to grow into what I wanted them to be. Pray for them. They are lost sheep. Pray they will return. And I do. Every day I pray, Holy angels, please go out and seek the ones that have been lied to and stolen from the channel, and bring them back. But that is not the point of this message. What I'm wanting to tell you is that your mission was to tell them what you learned from me, from my spirit, and from the movement of my spirit in all denominations. Just because they do not have all my early church has, does not mean that they are not in my body. I wanted you to do this both in writings and in song. That is why we are pressing in. You just don't get it. That there is some indescribable quality about your voice that opens the heart to truth. I'm trying to get it, Lord. I'm just gonna keep obeying until I do get it. Good girl. You won't regret it. In any case, you are preparing a whole generation to survive in glorious holiness, the tribulation. And for you, my children, who are left behind, you will be an army of believers marching shoulder to shoulder against the forces of the Antichrist. You will do great exploits, although some of you feel that you are great cowards. I will in that moment make you mighty in courage. You have been fed some solid manna on this channel, and it has laid a foundation no one can refute. That is why I am bringing forth the weapons you will need when Claire is gone. Those of you who follow the truth and march to my rhythm know my voice and have received the teachings of my early church, which also can be sought out with the church fathers, who taught many things that were omitted from the scriptures. But valuable things nonetheless that are based on the scriptures in its purest form, before the world got a hold of my church and defiled her. You carry in your hearts the minds and seeds of my church when I return to rule and reign for 1,000 years. You will grow into true holiness with these seeds. You will teach them to others, and they in turn will grow and teach. And I will call you to myself in Jerusalem, and you will come and go from my presence familiarly, because you have been raised up by my mother's influence through Claire. You have been formed in meekness and brotherly love. Did I not say the meek shall inherit the earth? Oh, there is so much you have learned here that has laid the foundation for my church. Cherish these teachings, and do not allow the educated ignorant to steal them from you. You are to remain simple and childlike, and not enter the great halls of learning in order to be garnished with man's accolades. No, your authority and wisdom do not come from any man, but from me. And this is the way I taught my apostles, not by expensive classes in universities, but by living the example of my ways and living the message of my love. The greatest force to be reckoned with is my love. If you are living in my love, nothing shall be impossible to you. And it goes without saying, faith, faith and love. So it is of the greatest importance that you cut away all actions motivated by any other concerns, to make way for the infilling of my love, which is everything, and is not taught in seminaries. It is love that caused me to stretch forth my arms on the cross, and it is your love which will willingly do the same, in order to live a life crucified to the world. This is why I tell you now, circumcise your hearts and minds now, so you will have less of a struggle coming into the glorious appointments I have for you. This will indeed make you look very lowly and foolish, but will bear copious fruit and set the deep foundation you need to withstand the high winds you will encounter as you grow taller. I have called you all to this channel for a very good reason. You are here because I'm preparing you. Those of you who have run the race all these years are going to your reward, and the others are here to prepare the next generation and do great exploits against the evil ones. Your experience with these will give you great wisdom to pass on at the end of the millennium. You will be combating an army of artificial intelligence and soulless forces. Many who will animate the army of the Antichrist will be without souls. When he said this, I saw factories filled with row after row after row of human-looking artificial intelligence. Those who were human in form, but without the spirit. Yes, technology has gone far beyond what you are aware of. There are underground cities with whole colonies of soldiers without the conscience, trained for a time such as this to kill Americans. Press in, my dear ones. Use what you've been given. Remember that love is the greatest force, and you are not alone. I am with you. The cloud is with you. The angels are with you, and so is my mother with you. Everyone in heaven has a purpose they've been trained in to help those on earth at this time. What a shame that so many of my people refuse to use what I've given them. But through your example, many will come to recognize the value of the great cloud. I love you. I am with you. Fear nothing.